Hi everyone. Zen and I are out on our evening walk. It's about after 5. Sun will go down in about an hour. But look how green the grass is. Everything out in the desert right now is still really green. It hadn't rained in probably 2 weeks. Bushes are green, grass is green. And so even the creosote bushes here are really green. Some of them have flowers, some of them don't yet. But probably soon there'll be a lot of flowers in the desert because it is into February. So tonight we're just going to walk and talk. No, not one of those talks, as you know, where Jay Clampett says, one of these days I need to have a talk with that boy. Not one of those talks. And it's not going to be one of those, we need to talk from your spouse or boss or somebody else. Those usually never turn out well. But I had a couple of viewers ask about how did I get started in this nomad life. So we're going to kind of focus on that a little bit. I guess I wish I could say the reason I got started in the nomad life was to get out and do this. I mean, walk around the desert, walk around the forest, go places and see things. But yeah, that's part of it. And you can see paragliders again. Right? He's out there every night almost. So sorry for all the shakiness. I'm trying to control the leash and walk at the same time. There's our paraglider again. But yeah, most people who start a nomadic style life, come on, let's go, usually have changes in their lives. Some will be, personal, some will be monetary, some will be just different changes. So, and some people may not just get away from everybody. So it's kind of like that. Had a few friends a couple of years ago that were tired of the social life and wanted to get away, and they kept talking about moving into a shipping container or something and buy some land out in the middle of nowhere and just go hide out from everybody. I kind of put the bug in my ear, and then went through and had a life-changing event. And so now it's just me and my dog. So it gave us a chance. I had a business I was really getting tired of. Worked too many hours. Needed to get away. Been working for 50 years or more. And it's time to settle down. It's also time to get back and realize maybe what you haven't seen or what you missed over your time. Life is short. It goes by really quick. We're only here for a few years. I mean, and the dogs are here even fewer years than we are. So, but yeah, I started going through and looking into things. I got me an apartment, and then I looked around, and I came across a Netflix video about two German young people, a couple. He was kind of a film screenwriter or whatever, and they sold everything in Germany. I think they were in Berlin. Sold everything they had, bought a school bus in, I think, North Carolina, and came over here on their visa for a few months and built a school bus. And their name of the show was called Expedition Happiness. They were on an expedition to find happiness. I watched that 2 or 3 times. It really makes a lot of sense. We'll see what they went through with the bus. And they had a dog. They had a Burmese mountain dog, so big mountain dog. So it was good to watch and get some ideas. So yeah, I went out and bought a bus, decided I'm going to try to get out and not live off the land, live on the land. Go see things I haven't seen, take time, slow down, get away from the rat race and all the hustle and bustle of the cities. And even now, I just don't like bigger cities. There's just so much going on, so fast paced. Out here, I've been here for 2 months and there's no pace at all besides just this pace we're doing right now. And if you don't want to do this, you don't have to. If you got a four-wheeler, yeah, you can have a different pace. But don't have one, so we just got a dog and we walk. But that's what we're doing out here. So that's kind of got me going. Yeah, I bought the bus, started working on it, sold my business, retired. Now I'm living off Social Security. So, and seeing how things go. Right now it's going pretty good. So as long as we don't have any kind of big breakdowns or disasters in the bus world. It's kind of interesting. This is to go through, and I read a book called Walden by Henry David Thoreau a year or so ago. A friend of mine, Chandler, gave me, and it kind of hit home too. I'm going to put a quote in here. I can't remember it all, and I'm really bad at quotes. I hate to misquote people. But I'll put a quote in here, and because his thing was he wanted to get away from everybody, go live out in the woods, see why, what he missed. So the quote will be right here. Well, there's the quote. So, but yeah, just a lot of things. Everybody you ask will have something different why they go nomadic. I have noticed a lot of people out in the nomadic world are single, and usually from a life change or something. A lot of them have single with dogs. Seems to be a big thing. A lot of people are single. Several couples. And so it's just a mix. But it seems to be, the most seem to be like a single people. So, I mean, it gives you something to do, especially if you're retired. And it just gets one. I've traveled many years with the family. Didn't do much traveling when I was young. My dad was one that didn't want to get out and spend money and travel and do things. We always went to grandma's house or a friend's house. So, as some of you may know how that goes. So, then I had my own family. We traveled quite a bit. Enjoyed it. But that's a different pace too, because you're on a week or 2 week schedule, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of you, or how many there may be, and you got to pack a lot of stuff in that short amount of time. So you miss a lot of things, a lot of stress. There's not to say there's not any stress in this, because this nomadic life, being out on your own, living in your own home, driving around, has stress. I mean, there's all kinds of stress out here. It's just a little bit slower pace stress. I think it's a slower pace stress. But it kind of reminds me, years ago when I was back in college, I had a good friend that one night we were at a party, as college kids do, and we've been drinking a little bit like college kids do, and we were talking a lot like college kids do. And she goes, oh, she said, hey, Tom, you should be a psychologist or something because you're such a good listener. Well, Cindy, I should have taken your advice on that because I think I would have enjoyed it. But I think what happened is, as we started having families, getting older, especially now as we're up in our age, that I lost that ability to listen. I could hear, but the ability to listen is something else that you kind of put back. Yeah, you hear a lot of things, but do you actually listen to what's going on? I mean, and so I think it was over the time as I've gotten older. I wish I would say get wiser with age. That probably is true in some places, but not for me, seemed like. Yeah, as you get older, now I'm losing that ability to hear, but I think I'm regaining the ability to listen again. So as we go through, take time, listen. I had a good friend back in Arkansas that we would hang out, coffee shop, beverages, whatever, and he was one of those people that was a great listener, and he had some really good questions to ask, and so that was really interesting. I like that. Well, I haven't had a good question asked in a while, and it kind of got me thinking. But yeah, he was a real good listener, a real good conversationalist, really smart, and he was able to keep yourself motivated just listening, because he would be involved into your questions and etc. So, but yeah, today we're just walking and talking. So yeah, I got started in nomad life. I'm kind of just jumping back and forth. I do this as my brain kind of clicks in gear. So just bear with me. Sometimes I get derailed real easy, but that happens. I would say senior age, but I think it happens at any age. So, and I realize I say so a lot. I'm gonna try to stop some of that. An interesting nomad life story. Mine's not that really great interesting, but I kind of got things in place. I got a bus, I got a home I'm making out of. Luckily, it hadn't failed me too bad yet. I do have plans for the future. A couple years ago, I purchased some land in southeast Colorado up in the mountains. The only disadvantage is it's 9,000 feet elevation, and my bus doesn't like that to get up there. I had it up there once, and it was pretty scary, because this road here we're looking at is a whole lot better than the road going up to where my property is, and it's about a 1,500 foot elevation change in about a mile and a half. So as anybody knows Colorado, it's dirt, rocks. When it rains, it turns into mud, and it goes pretty good elevation. And there's no driveway on it, so I can't park my bus up once I do get there. But that's a later Tom problem. We'll get enough money saved up sometime. We'll spend the $4,000 to put a driveway in. Got to have a couple culverts, and I got to have a place to park my bus because they won't like me parking on the street. Well, on the dirt road, because the dirt road is about this wide too. So it's interesting. We'll get out there sometime, and that would be my home base. So it's good to have a plan, and if something happens, I can shift maybe things around and go back to the home base quicker than I need to. But I want to kind of enjoy this nomadic driving around and seeing things, taking a little slower pace. And I'll be here in Arizona for about another month, give or take, month to 5 weeks. First part of April, where I'll be heading out. So there I go with that so again. But probably heading out and seeing what's next. Maybe traveling. I have applied for a camp host position, but I haven't heard back yet, so I don't know what's going on with that. I guess they're a big company, and sorry about all the shaking, but my dog's hung up around his leash, around his legs and his neck. So there it is. But I applied for it. We'll find out at some point, hopefully soon. But this area, we've been out here before. Oh, come on, buddy. You're wrapped up again, aren't you? I'll be glad when I get my new leash next week. This is non-retractable. Hangs up on his feet. He's got such big feet. They're huge. And they're flat feet. Well, we're going to walk over this way. And then see what else. There's another quote of Thoreau's that I like, and this cactus reminds me of something. It's not a cactus quote, but he said, I can't remember it exactly, but he said, I went into the woods, went into the trees to find the woods, and that's not it. Seeing this cactus thinks of another quote from Thoreau that I'm going to walk over here. He said something like, walked into the woods and came out taller than the trees. Well, being out here in the desert and the woods, I've walked into the desert, and I'm going to go out taller than a cactus. There you go. Don't quote me on that. Well, you can if you want to, but it's just good to realize, and even when you're thinking about, like I said earlier, about listening. You know, you can listen without even hearing anything, without saying anything. You can listen. Go out into the woods, go out into nature, go out into someplace, just walk around and just listen. I mean, we can all hear things, but it's when you sit there and you think and you listen that you start realizing how much of stuff is around you. I mean, the power of the earth, it has its energy. There's energy everywhere. And to go on, I'm not a philosopher. Oh, there's some pretty looking flowers. They're blooming. I'm not a and I'm not a ist. So you can say, I'm not a philosopher. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a marine biologist. You get the gist. I'm just not an ist. I'm just a person that walking around the woods. enjoying their life. And I think this wandering around in a nomadic life has been good for me and the dog. We spend a lot of time together. And he's one I can listen to. He didn't say anything. I can hear him when he barks. But I can also just sit there and look at him, and I can almost listen to what he's thinking, knowing what he wants to do next. So as we go, but I think this has been, like I said, sorry for the shakiness, but the dog is everywhere. I think this has been good. It is less stressful. It's a more, and like I said before, calmer, maybe an easier stress. I think my blood pressure's gone down. I know my ability to just sit and do nothing, where it used to just really bother me because I had to be doing something all the time. Go, 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 make something, build something, go someplace, drive somewhere. Now I can just sit. Maybe that's part of being older and retired. I mean, yeah, I'm tired, but maybe later on in life I can be retired. Right now, I don't feel retired. I just feel relaxed. But that's how I kind of got into the nomadic life. It's nothing crazy. No ginormous blockbuster videos or movies be made of it. It's just a life changed. I had to do something else. And as everybody knows in these days, that I couldn't afford to live in the sticks and bricks because everything was getting so expensive. So I just had to go out and get me some mobile transportation. And it is a little bit cheaper, I think, than living in sticks and bricks. You get to see more, go more places, but you don't have a lot of friends. You have a few. I got a few friends that are around, but they drive off too. So you don't see them for who knows how long. Maybe you'll pass each other in the country somewhere as you're going from campground to campsite or something, but not like you're having friends in your home area where you can go to the coffee shop and get a beverage and do what you want. You gotta make a little more effort out here to do that, and it's not a bad thing. I don't need too many friends. I mean, you just need a couple of good friends, a few good friends. So I mean, you got to share yourself with other people. And I think if you had too many good friends, that it would wear you out. But I don't know. Maybe that's your own thinking. Well, we're gonna walk back towards the bus. It's over there in the valley, and the dog's walking. And we're gonna. Sorry for the shaking, but he just keeps pulling on me. Oh, there you go. Hold on. There you go. Stop. Way too much movement in his world. Okay, here we go. All right, go. But he's on something. He's hears something, and he can also listen. So he hears it, then he's listening to what he's zoning in on somewhere. Also, he's smelling it. He's got much more sensitive than I do. All people do. So, but there he goes. Here we are. Here's me. I need to get a different hat. Sunset behind is changing. Oh, it's gonna be a good sunset tonight. I think it looks pretty good. I'm gonna turn around and look at it. I don't know. It's hard to say. We haven't had a good sunset in a couple of weeks. But we'll flip back. There we go. You want to see my old ugly face. But that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Nah. Subject to change without notice. All those cliches you hear all the time. But that's it, people. That's kind of how I got started. And that's just my thoughts as we walk. I may do more of these if you're interested in them, but it's good just for me to get words out because, like I said, I'm out here pretty much by myself and my dog, and he doesn't talk back. So, and walking through the desert, nobody hears you. There's nobody out here, and if they did hear you, would they be listening? I don't know. So, have a good evening, everyone, and we'll keep walking. And if we get a good sunset, I'll put it at the end of the video. Until then, see you on down the road.